Guys, if you are familiar with British Williams of the Basketball Wives franchise, you know that she was at one time engaged to Lorenzo. And that is kind of how she got on Basketball Wives, right? Because these ladies are supposed to be basketball wives, although they did not actually walk down the aisle, they were engaged. Well, you guys should already know that British is currently in prison serving a 4-year prison sentence for misuse of a social security number, 4 counts of bank fraud, 3 counts of making false statements to the Internal Revenue Service, and 3 counts of wire fraud. She was indicted in September 2021, and she is currently in prison serving her jail time. Well, it looks like her ex-fiance is going to be behind bars just like her, because apparently he has pleaded guilty to similar charges, y'all. So let's jump into this video and figure out, why are these people committing fraud? Are they not making any money on these shows? And guys, before we get deep into this video, please make sure you are subscribed to the channel. And if you are subscribed, go ahead and hit that bell notification so you do not miss out on a video. Now, during the time that British Williams was going through her court situation, there was information that stated that the feds had information on Lorenzo, and they stated that he was potentially, somebody that had conspired and had did some similar crimes, similar ones that British had did. Now, British originally stated that she did those pandemic scams because she stated she needed to do to be able to survive. She said what people did not understand is that there were times where Lorenzo just didn't have money, which makes a lot of sense now because now he has been charged, which is quite interesting because in this particular clip, when she was on Basketball Wives, she cried and said Lorenzo was actually trying to take custody of her daughter, but to turn around to be in almost a similar predicament as British was in, when in fact, British stated on the show that Lorenzo was treating her very poorly. Now, let's get into these allegations. Now, in all honesty, I have to say, I really feel like Lorenzo is being targeted due to his affiliation with British. As you guys know, she is currently in a federal prison serving 4 years on several charges. Now, if you guys don't know, Lorenzo Gordon is a former professional basketball player, and he admitted to committing $272,774 worth of fraud. Now, this was involving pandemic aid programs. Now, the reason that I said I feel like he was targeted, because this is the same thing that British was convicted of. So when they started to investigate her, I'm sure it led them straight to him. Now, this is stating that he pleaded guilty in U.S. District Court in St. Louis to 1 felony count of theft of government money. Now, as part of his plea agreement, Gordon admitted that he fraudulently applied for 2 loans from the Paycheck Protection Program and 3 from the Economic Injury Disaster Loan Program. Now, both of those programs were intended to help businesses and their employees during the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, Lorenzo's applications for the loan programs contain false information about 3 companies that applied for these loans: Logo Fitness LLC, Elite 50 Basketball Training LLC, and Elite Health and Fitness Company LLC. Now, Gordon fraudulently received a total of $107.74 in PPP loans and another $165,700 in EIDL loans and advances. Now, this is what his plea states. Now, he is scheduled to be sentenced on January 9th, 2025. The theft charge is punishable by up to 10 years in prison and also a $250,000 fine, or both prison and both the fine together. Now, the Internal Revenue Service and the Social Security Administration Office of Inspector General investigated this case, and also the Assistant U.S. Attorney Diane Clark is prosecuting this case. Now, this is pretty bad for these two. And I'm going to say this is simply because, I mean, it's bad altogether that, you would have to even go to jail or even be sentenced. But the number one issue here is British is already behind bars. So now, hopefully, their child doesn't have two parents behind bars, because it looks like Lorenzo is actually going to be sentenced on January 9th, 2025. And as I previously stated, British just she went to jail in October 2023. She hasn't even been in there a year, and now dad is being sentenced as well. Now, just to recall what happened with British Williams, if you guys recall, British Williams' attorney had successfully lobbied for her to actually stay out of jail and be able to spend Christmas in 2023 with her daughter, right? So she was expected to turn herself in on January 3rd of 2024. However, if you guys recall, she did not report to prison and therefore had to be apprehended and arrested and brought in because she failed to actually turn herself in. But it turns out that that was some kind of misunderstanding with her attorney. But it just did not look bad for her to actually be arrested after the judge had actually allowed her to spend 2023 Christmas with her daughter. Now, if you guys also recall, during British Williams' plea agreement, she told the court that she also had submitted 9 applications for economic injury disaster loans. Now, these loans were designed to help struggling businesses. Now, 4 applications for the Paycheck Protection Program that she created and she submitted. Now, it looks like she was aware that these programs were in fact for businesses. Now, one application that she applied for was something for rent relief in California. Now, it is being stated that she used $144,000 in loans, and 2 of those loan applications to actually fund her lifestyle. She also received an additional $2,000 in PPP loans. Now, it states that in January 2022, she also applied for money with the California COVID-19 Rent Relief Program. She claimed she was a resident of the state with a total income of $50,000 and that she couldn't pay her rent due to her work hours being cut because of the pandemic. So she had stopped paying rent in July 2021, and she received nearly $28,000 in funds from this particular program. But listen, it gets even more crazier. Now, her plea agreement states that the network, Basketball Wives LA, was actually paying $3,800 to British to actually pay her rent. Now, it also stated that her work hours and pay were unaffected by the pandemic. So, although she claimed that she needed money, to pay her rent, they said she was not affected at all. In addition, prosecutors said Williams and co-conspirators received nearly $140,000 from at least one insurance company after she filed fake medical bills. And it goes on and on and on. It goes on to say that Williams filed her annual tax returns, since her indictment, and that was in October 2021. They said she listed herself as exempt on the paperwork with her current employer, meaning there were no taxes withheld from her $90,000 annual salary. So it looks like that was her pay from Basketball Wives, which is not a lot of money. Now, it's saying that the total known losses that encompass her scamming and her scheme was about $446,082. And with Lorenzo being sentenced in January of 2025, which is only a few short months, my question is what is going to happen with Dash? Now, Dash is actually their daughter. So I don't know how this is going to turn out, or I don't even know if Lorenzo is going to be sentenced to jail time or if he reached some kind of plea agreement where they're going to allow him to maybe go on probation. I am definitely not sure, but I'm going to keep you guys updated. And as always, guys, make sure you like the video and please share the video. And also, if you have not subscribed to the channel, make sure you go ahead and subscribe. And if you are subscribed, please go ahead and enable your bell notification so you do not miss out on a video.